Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today it's my goal to make a useful resource for you by walking around the Fremennik area in anticipation of Trailblazer. I want to show you all the content that's available in the Fremennik area, what quests there are, what useful unlocks there are in this area, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them, so let's check it out. First, I want to talk about something that I'm a little bit nervous about. The Fremennik Province is one of those areas that's a little bit famous for having a pretty long trek to get to them. On my account, it's all good. I can just teleport to my house, drink out of my ornate pool, hop over to the fairy ring. Let's not even do that. Let's go over to the Lunar Isle portal, run to the bank, click on one of these, hold the spacebar through the dialogue, and boom, here we are in Rellekka. That's not the case for accounts that have much lower construction, does not have access to infinite runes and construction materials to make portals and stuff. That's going to be a lot of work to be able to do that specific thing, not to mention all the quests that are required. But there are other options, including a fairy ring up here. That's a decent way to teleport here, and that's probably the option for transportation. Just walking all the way around the town and boom, you're in here. But you've got access to the content here. You can also charter? No, you cannot charter here. But what's actually in this place? Why would you want to unlock it? This area is potentially going to be really full of a bunch of useful things, or it might be a little bit more separated depending on what Jagex's philosophy in Trailblazer is. We don't actually know what the real areas are going to be. Is Jagex planning on separating the land into just 10 areas and we get 6 of them, or is it going to be more like 30 areas and we only get 6 of them? I'm assuming that the number is going to be a little bit lower so that we don't get bored and we've got plenty of content that we can still do. I think that they would rather lean on us feeling like we're drowning in content than not. That's my opinion. Not that my opinion matters, but it also might be even more fun for the more hardcore snowflake style sort of people to be even more restricted. But I don't know if that's Jagex's philosophy. So the Fremennik region obviously has Rellekka. You know what? We're going to say that 100%. And Rellekka is connected to all these boats, and these boats can take you to the Dagonoth King's Island place, you know, the Fremennik Isles and Trials regions, Nietiznat, Jatizo, Miscellania, all kinds of really great things. But do we also get the Trolls area? A bunch of quests in there, and the Godwars dungeons? It's starting to seem like a lot. This winter hunting zone is also like another automatic in my mind. Maybe we get the lighthouse here, that quest Horror from the Deep. I'm assuming so, just because of the way the rocks are colored. It makes it feel a little bit more Fremennik than other places. We got that Penguin Island here as well. This place is involved in the exile. Oh, right, Exiles. We get this place in the Exiles quest. Not that this unlocks any content, it's just part of the quest. And then another big one, Vorkath, Lunar Island, which is another really important spot to unlock a spellbook. And, well, that's probably the most important thing, but you also unlock a decent rune crafting method up there. But let's not talk about that. Let's actually walk there. One more thing, didn't mention, do we cross this river at all along with the Fremennik Province? If so, we get another quest. We get Seers Village, which is massive. We get the castle with all the quests in it. Do we get Seers Village with all the trees? Do we go all the way down here? Doubt it. To get the magic trees down here. Flaxfield, yew logs, maple logs. In my opinion, Seers Village is a little bit too close to Kandarin for us to get it along with the Fremennik Province, but it's a possibility. So what interesting quests do we get in the Fremennik Province? You get Fremennik Trials, which is that famous one that you do right away in Rellekka to get the people friends with you, and you get your Fremennik name. You then move on to Isles to unlock Nietiznat and Jatizo, those 2 places, and then, really important, the Nietiznat helmet, Yaks, but we'll go over that in a bit. And then, most recently, Rellekka gets attacked by basilisks in Fremennik Exiles, and then you go kill a giant snake. And you get to unlock the basilisk jaw, things like that. So, those are some good quests to do. I'm expecting to do them myself. Since these quests are so contained, I'm doubting that they'll be auto-completed for any reason. I'm assuming that we'll have to actually do these. So Trials is pretty easy, and you're pretty much just running around Rellekka to do it. Then you'll be able to come over to Isles. You'll spend some time on these islands trying to figure out how to get the kingdoms together. And for the reward, you get the Neat is Not helmet. Great best in slot, strength bonus, cool looking white helmet. A lot of people are going to rush this, I'm sure. And then something that's really, really interesting because we're in leagues is that you get these areas as well. So what kinds of things are interesting on Neat is Not? Well, I mentioned them before, but the Yaks are a great AFK training region right there. Apparently, Neat is Not has runite rocks right up here. There it is. So you just run north of Neat is Not, and you get there's a 7 coal and 1 runite ore. It's kind of cool. Oh, I thought you could cross over here, but they just shout at each other. Hopping over to the sister island, Jatizo. Check it out. 11 adamantite rocks, 15 mithril, bunch of other rocks. That's a big mine right there. That's pretty cool. Ice trolls up here are an excellent resource for Slayer experience. It's one of my favorite Slayer tasks in the game. The J is a Y. So I've been saying Jatizo my whole life, but it's Yatizo. Neat is Not Yatizo. Whoa. Yaks we've mentioned for a little bit. They give combat experience, but also crafting experience, actually. You just pick up their hides and you'll be able to use those for crafting. Heading back to Rellekka in order to talk about Fremennik Exiles, the third most recent quest. Fremennik Exiles is one of those higher stat things. In the main game, people complain about needing 55 rune crafting in order to complete Fremennik Exiles, or start it even. But maybe that won't be as big of a chore in Leagues 2. But if you do Exiles, you get 75,000 Slayer and 75,000 crafting experience. Again, assuming ×5 multiplication on all quest rewards. And you get to kill the Basilisk Knights. That's not super interesting unless we do get that relic that's rumored that will buff RNG rare drops. Seems like that's going to be the case. Currently, if you have a Basilisk Knight on task, it's a 1 in 1k drop to get the jaw. With a buff, maybe that's not so bad. Then you'll be able to use that to upgrade your helmet for, you know, a bit more strength bonus. And then, of course, Lunar Diplomacy and Dream Mentor. I don't know how to get there, honestly. This is the Miscellania boat. That's the Fremennik boat. That's Neat's Not and Yatizo. How do you get to Lunar Island without teleporting there? Pirate's Cove. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to manually go through the Pirate's Cove in order to try to get there, but I don't think it's going to let me onto the island because I didn't bring my seal of passage along. But first, I guess let me walk around Pirate's Cove. Oh, yeah, okay. So Pirate's Cove does have a bunch of moss giants. They are multi-combat, so that's not the best thing ever. Okay, so I'm just walking up here. I'm assuming that he's not going to take me. He is going to take me to the Moonclad Island, also known as Lunar Isle. I guess let's do some theory crafting on whether or not we'll have to do Lunar Diplomacy right away. So there's a decent possibility that Lunar Diplomacy will just be auto-completed right away because of the fact that it takes place in multiple regions, which is always going to be the reason, so I'm not going to keep on saying that reason. But regardless if it's auto-completed or for some reason it's not auto-completed, you're going to want to do this quest. Think about the Lunar Spellbook. This Lunar Spellbook is going to be really, really useful. It's full of utility spells, just kind of like the really quirky spells that Jagex didn't put in the regular spellbook, because that's all about like killing monsters and stuff at first. But then they made a bunch of more interesting spells, such as NPC Contact. Think about how restricted your account is going to be in Trailblazer by not having a bunch of law runes right away. Remember, you're in Ironman mode. You've got to get all the resources yourself to be able to travel where you want. So think about how much time NPC Contact is going to save you. We don't actually know how powerful NPC Contact is going to be, but I don't know. What if it lets you contact Slayer Masters in areas that you haven't even unlocked? Dream Mentor, it's going to be more likely that you'll have to actually complete this quest, and there's a decently hard boss fight. I think some people are scared of the boss fight in Dream Mentor, but Dream Mentor is going to allow you to do the rest of the spells in the Lunar Spellbook, and there's some interesting ones in there, including the Hunter Kit and Plank Make. Those are pretty good. But maybe Plank Make won't be as important because later in the stream, I'm going to talk about Mahogany Homes. And I'm guessing Mahogany Homes is going to be pretty meta, part of the meta for training construction in Leagues. Check out this shop that you get in the Moon Clan place. All right, so checking out the shop here, look, so many runes, really high stock in all of them, rune packs, all the staves, so that's some decent stuff. So that was me thinking about the quests. I actually would also consider thinking about the possibility that the Horror from the Deep quest, which unlocks books, would be in this area. Maybe Mountain Daughter, which might be auto-completed, Troll Stronghold, and all these other things as well, depending on if they're actually here. You probably unlock the ability to do Throne of Miscellania as well, and perhaps Miscellania will be a really, really super important unlock for you in Leagues. Let's take a second to think about really all of the areas that are available in the Fremennik Province, and what those areas really mean for you and your account in Leagues 2. I glossed over this at the beginning, but look, Keldagrim entrance. Boom, let's go in here. Look, there's an entire city underground. It's full of things. I think they're going to be important. When I think about Keldagrim, I think about the construction materials that are available here. Keldagrim is like a unique place that sells construction materials, gold leaf, marble, magic stone, some of those really important items that'll actually grant you access to some of the more powerful reasons to do construction in the first place. I doubt you'll make use of this, but this is one of those interesting things about the weapon shop. It sells a rune longsword, so maybe you still need to upgrade your weapon, but I kind of doubt it, because also available in this area is the leaf-bladed sword, which out DPS is a rune scimitar anyway. So maybe this will be a stepping stone to get there, but you'll probably end up with that sword instead. It also sells mithril and adamant arrows, so that's pretty good. I was a little bit worried about getting enough gems to get the useful jewelry for teleporting around, but if you unlock Keldagrim, you're able to just buy rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Or if you end up with 75 thieving, which you probably will, thieving's a fast skill, and it's even faster in Leagues, but you can just steal them here. There's also an ore seller, so maybe you'll be able to find yourself in that fortunate position to be able to afford ore, and you'll be able to buy as much coal as you need and other things as well. Okay, so leaving Keldagrim behind. Thinking about the Waterbirth dungeon. I look at this and I think about tons of Dagannoth all around, including the Dagannoth Kings. Rings from the Dagannoth Kings are best in slot. Pretty important to come down here. Hopefully Ironman will be able to just like get into an instance and kill some Dagannoth Kings. I'm thinking about heading down to Dagannoth Kings and practicing this a little bit more before League starts, because it's going to be a little bit more difficult on Ironman mode with limited resources, and I think I should just bring my main down here and practice setting up the actual cycle, so I don't just have to stand there and kill Rex over and over again. I can actually efficiently kill all three of them. Oh, and don't forget about the Dragon Axe. Only source of Dragon Axe in Leagues 2, Dagannoth Kings. Boom, Waterbirth Island. Interesting thing about Sigmund, which is an NPC that I think stands right around here, he sells vial packs. He sells rope, candles, and if you're worried about this, he sells a pestle and mortar. And he's basically just a general store along with those things. Alright, so if we're lucky enough to get the Godwars dungeon as well, I mean, the benefits of the Godwars dungeon is pretty obvious, but it's pretty high level, and you'll have to do all the fights solo, alone, and you'll have to do a whole bunch of them to get a chance at some of the really, really good equipment, which includes obviously the God Swords and the Armadillo crossbow and the Bando's chest piece and Bando's tassets and the Zami Hosta and the Saradomin sword, and there's plenty of just like high level PVM gear in there, but it's kind of scary. Hopefully Jagex is going to come up with a solution for Ironman, like give us all instanced God Wars experiences, because currently it's almost impossible to go on Ironman mode and not get crashed after a single kill, right? So they've been talking about instanced Godwars for a long time, but maybe we'll actually get it before this league starts. Oh, that is a good thing to bring up. Ziliana, one of the most scary parts about Ziliana in your prep as an Ironman is needing to create a bunch of stamina pots for yourself, which is like a pretty high level activity. But in leagues, we all get to run forever. Run, gang. So Ziliana is going to be a lot easier if we just get to run infinitely. That's awesome. Thinking about Miscellania, there's not really many resources here for you to attain yourself. When you try to chop any of these trees, it just goes directly into your kingdom favor, of course. So the full benefit of Miscellania is just kingdom management, which I haven't checked on my kingdom management in like a year, and I didn't really like stock it up with more coins and stuff, so I'm assuming there's not going to be that much stuff, but I'm going to go gather my thing. Kingdom management is going to be a resource for plenty of things, and almost all of them really useful for Ironmen. Current approval rating 25%. Sorry, it's behind me right here. But I'm going to collect my resources. Not very many things, so I guess I just didn't stock this up with money. No problem, I don't care. So here's the interface for Miscellania. It can give you herbs, it can give you like teak logs, and oh yeah, hardwood over here. Regular wood, a bunch of maples. Could be useful, because fire making's we're not going to get Wintertod, so you're probably going to have to chop a whole bunch of maple logs to train your fire making. You can get a bunch of fish for yourself. That's really good. Mining ores, and hardwood for construction, farming. This is all really useful stuff for an Ironman. Really good things to consider, but it'll probably be a pretty decent sized GP sink. I'm going to use my Slayer ring right here to teleport over to the Rellekka Slayer Cave. Most important thing, almost for sure, right, are Turoths. I'm not even like gonna pretend to know everything about this place, but I do know that Turoths drop the leaf-bladed sword, which is that decent weapon that beats the rune scimitar, so that's very interesting. Let's squeeze through this crevice here. The Turoths, level 89, 83. Yeah, this is a decently strong monster as well. But I don't know, maybe there are safe spots in here, and it's decently easy. Man, I don't even know if I've ever killed a single Turoth on this account, but they're pretty ugly. Gross. Using the fairy ring DKS, we're going to go to the Polar Hunter area, and this is almost assuredly one of the things that we get in the Fremennik region. Decent place to train Hunter. I don't know, I don't really think it's like that important, but it's just one of those things that you also get. A bunch of cabbits around here, a bunch of butterflies around here, and birds. So let's take Rellekka, think of it in a holistic sort of picture here when comparing it to other regions. There is quite a bit of really good stuff in here, to be honest, but does it compare to other regions? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. What do you think? It does seem like a strong area, but it might not be in the absolute S tier, which, you know what? We should definitely make a tier list video coming up here. We talked about this at the beginning, but Rellekka, another one of those downsides is it might be hard to walk to and get around within the area unless you're late game already. That's how it is in the main game. I'm sure it's even more like that in Ironman mode. Rellekkian's gonna kill me for not even mentioning it earlier, but when you think about skilling areas, I didn't mention this one already. I looked past the docks on Yatizo. Oh, that's not Yatizo. I looked past the docks on Yatizo already. There's sharks here. You can fish a whole bunch of sharks here on Yatizo. That's really good food, and it's a decent skilling option as well, along with a decent skilling option in Hunter down here. But aside from those two things, there's not that many places to train your skills in the Fremennik Province. Are there even maple trees up here? There's a few maple trees along the road, I think. Yeah, these red ones down here at least. So if you have Relic 1, you'll be able to hang out here. Maybe this won't even be in the Fremennik area. That's it for the Fremennik Province, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We've got some other videos on other areas already done, and I'm looking forward to making more. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to join us in the discussion, I've got a Discord link in the description of this YouTube video. We're all just hanging out there talking about Trailblazer all the time because we're a little bit crazy, a little bit obsessed. Tell me about all the mistakes that I made in this video down in the comments below. While you're down there, subscribe, like the video. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good day.